So we're continuing on with a little bit more about negative indices in this video, and one important principle that kind of follows on from what happened in the last video is that we can change the power of a term by moving it over the fraction line. And so we kind of saw that with the basic examples where if we had something with a negative power, um, that could be changed to a positive power by going on the bottom of the fraction. So what we've got here, if we want to rewrite with positive indices, so we've got 2f to the power of negative 3 over 3r squared, and we want to rewrite it so that this f term has a positive power. Currently it's at negative 3, we want it to be positive. And so what we can do is we can rewrite it, but instead of having the f on the top, we're shifting it to the bottom. Now I'm writing f to the power of 3 first. Typically we write alphabetically, so that's why I'm doing f before the r term there. So 2 over 3 f to the power of 3 r squared. And so this next one here, a squared b to the power of negative 3. And so currently it's not a fraction, but remember that we can rewrite anything as a fraction by putting it over a denominator of 1. And so in order to write this with positive indices, I'm going to take the b to the power of negative 3, and I'm going to write it on the bottom of my fraction, but now it's a positive 3 for the power. So a squared over b to the power of 3. And so you can see they're all positive powers now. And so now rewriting with negative indices, we have got the f to the power of negative 3 already, but we want to rewrite the r squared as a negative power. And so this kind of principle of making the power positive by putting it on the bottom of the fraction, I can put things to the top of the fraction and that will change the sign of their power as well. And so to change the r squared to r to the power of negative 2, I can rewrite it on the top. And this is an important thing to understand because it allows you to work flexibly with powers and indices changing between positive and negative. So this would be how we could write this problem, but only with negative indices. All right, and so another important principle is that we can change the power of a fraction by flipping it. And so here we've got 3/4 to the power of negative 2. So in order to, if we want to work this out, we kind of need to be dealing with positive powers. So if we rewrite this as 4 over 3, so I've flipped my fraction, now my power is changed from negative to positive. And so in terms of what we deal, how we deal with this now, an important kind of thing to know about squaring or applying any power to something inside brackets is essentially that that squared is then going to act on both the numerator and the denominator. So essentially, I'm going to be having 4 squared, which is 16, over 3 squared, which is 9. So that can't be simplified. I've evaluated that's the simplest way I can do this problem here. And our last one here, we've got 2m to the power of 3 over 3n, and that's got a power of negative 2. So the best way to deal with this is we start by flipping my fraction, because that has the effect of changing my power to a positive now. And I can now do 3n squared over 2m to the power of 3 squared. If I'm trying to simplify this down, I probably want to expand out these brackets here. And so 3n, that all squared. So remember the squared applies to both the 3 and the n. So I will have 9n squared. And then the squared is applying to the 2 and the m to the power of 3. So 2 squared is 4. M to the power of 3 squared is going to be 6.